What if you could walk through the treetops, explore America's last Victorian fernery, and step into gardens that have been evolving for more than a century? Well, we traveled to Philadelphia to do just that at Morris Arboretum and Gardens. Joined by Vince Morocco, Director of Horticulture, we ventured across their Out on a Limb canopy walk, where you rise from ground level to 44 feet in the air, just like a squirrel exploring the treetops. We also uncovered the only freestanding Victorian fernery left in North America, which you could see in more detail on our sister channel at Plant One On Me. From historic landscapes to modern transformations and plenty of summer blooms, Morris Arboretum and Gardens is a living museum that we'll be exploring together.
I heard a chipmunk didn't bring any peanuts.
Oh, there's chipmunks all over the place. Don't worry. We do not have a shortage of chipmunks here, that is for sure. So we started as the summer home of John and Lydia Morris. So in 1887, John purchased this parcel of land we're standing on, which he called Compton. It was about 60 acres at the time, and this was their summer home. And the mansion stood on the top of the hill here behind us. It was a 3-story Gothic mansion, so it's kind of demure for his time. It was a smallish 3-story Gothic mansion. It sat on this hill that dominated the property, and you could see everything in all different directions.
We destroyed it.
Lydia had it in her will to have it demolished.
Really?
Yes, she did not want the mansion to be the focal point of the garden. She wanted the garden to be the focal point of the garden.
Wow, that is just real dedication.
So she really had it was in the will to be taken down, and so the university, when we became the university's garden, they kind of put that off for a number of years.
Yeah.
Until deferred maintenance costs and things, they decided it was better to take it down.
Did they salvage anything from it? Okay.
Yeah, we still have a number of pieces from the mansion.
Yeah.
And their collection of art went to the art museum or the Penn Museum. And so it was, we salvaged everything that was worth keeping out of it.
Well, that is a lady who loves her garden.
So she did love her garden. And so
imagine.
The garden we're going into now would have been in the Morris's era, their kitchen garden and cutting garden. And that was in the late 1800s.
Yeah.
In 1914, Lydia converted it over to a rose garden. And I like to say at that time, there were 3 plants in a rose garden. There was turf, a yew hedge, and nothing but roses. And so when the roses were doing their thing, it was really quite lovely.
Yeah.
But when they weren't, it was all green all the time.
Right.
And so in the 90s, we decided that we wanted to kind of move away from that aesthetic and to have it have more color all throughout the season. So we started using mixed plantings in the rose garden.
Which I think looks so nice. It almost feels a bit more like an English cottage border or something.
It does, very much so. One of the things about a rose garden that's all roses all the time is that if you have diseases on your roses, it looks terrible, right? You can't hide it if that's all there is.
Especially if it's a public garden and people are expecting to see beautiful plants all the time.
So by going with mixed plantings, roses kind of do the slow down thing in July and August. They're not quite as productive. And so if we have other things growing in their place, you'll notice them and not the roses. And so you don't notice the diseases as much. And so we're really fastidious about care in the rose garden. We fertilize the roses every 2 weeks. The roses are underneath drip irrigation, so there's no water on the foliage that we irrigate with. We do what I call vacuuming the rose garden in late March. We literally come in here and take out all the organic matter from the beds, all the old
leaf
mulch,
matter and mulch.
Mulch, leaf matter, anything that's dead on the plants, we remove all that stuff because that's essentially inoculum.
Yeah.
It's holding all last year's diseases. If we get all that out of the garden, then we start the season with a clean slate. And by doing that for year after year after year, we've eliminated almost all disease in the rose garden until July. Can
you eliminate that by the virtue of disease-resistant roses, or do you have heirloom ones that are not necessarily disease-resistant, so you want to have that kind of health and safety?
We do both of those things here. So we actually monitor all the roses on a bi-weekly basis. We come through and we kind of score them based on resistance to disease, foliage quality, flower fragrance.
Right.
Because a lot of those roses that are being bred now for really good landscape roses don't really have any fragrance to them.
Yeah, that's true. And people
so,
want, when they come to a rose, they want to stop and smell the roses.
Exactly.
Literally.
Like, this is one called Pink Knockout right here, which was co-discovered here, believe it or not.
Oh, that's interesting.
So,
Tell us about that.
So we found a pink sport on Knockout Rose at the same time that Connor Pyle Nursery found a pink sport on their Knockout Roses. And so we decided to sort of introduce that rose. And so
Nice.
the Pink Knockout Rose was co-discovered at the Arboretum and at Connor Pyle.
That's so funny. So how do you know that you co-discovered? Did you you find out in the patents or?
Good point. No, we reached out to them and said, hey, we have a pink sport. And they said, oh, guess what? We have a pink sport.
Oh,
and
boy.
so they said, you could introduce that pink sport on your own and name it whatever.
Yeah.
Or we can just go in together and we'll split the royalties.
That's great.
So that's what we
Okay,
did.
interesting.
They have the ability to patent and name roses. That's not a strength of ours.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we have several roses that we've introduced to the rose garden that same way.
And I like how you the sedum in with Verbena bonariensis,
Right.
and it's got an interesting. This one looks different. It almost has a different shape than
It's
this.
not the berry, it is.
Oh, I'm making you bend over.
Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. That's what I live for.
Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to get out of the car. I know you. I just got back from Ithaca.
You did. You don't call. You don't write.
Right, I don't know. My son just started school there, so we just dropped him off.
Is he in Ithaca or Cornell?
Ithaca.
Nice. So what is he studying?
Theater art.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a perfect
I
place
know.
for it. Yeah. And you get to go to the Finger Lakes. What a jaw.
I know.
It's
I went to Hobart College originally.
Okay. Yeah.
so
Up there.
It's weird going back.
Yeah. You feel like, oh man,
Yeah.
maybe I should throw back a few beers and see my buddies.
Yeah, they were
Hang
there.
out. Yeah.
No, it's really nice.
Relive the old
I
times.
like it that you can just basically you drive up through the mountains,
Yeah.
and then you're up there.
You're like
It's-
through the country, and then you're like, oh, there's a university right
It feels
here.
like it's so far away from
Yeah.
here, but it's really not.
No, it isn't at all.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you watch. Like and subscribe,
Yeah, subscribe to your channel. I mean, it's always good. I love the plant. I love the plant.
That's cool.
Oh, nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you
Bill.
too. Very nice to see you. Did you know we were filming today?
No,
Oh, you didn't.
It's a
You don't
secret.
call. You don't write.
they didn't tell me anything.
He comes and goes. He
So
comes
you-
and
are you
goes.
down?
Crazy.
Well, Bill, nice to meet
nice
you.
to meet you guys.
Yeah, I really
Thanks.
appreciate
Good
it.
seeing you, Bill.
Yeah, take care.
So that's the boss.
Yeah, he just video bombed us.
He did. He
The
did.
boss just video bombed
He
us.
did. That's okay. He's
But
a
he
good
knew
guy.
he knew the channel.
He did.
Always flattering when somebody watches the channel.
He's got his finger on the pulse.
Yeah,
knows
he
what's
does.
happening.
He does.
So,
Yeah.
So good for Bill.
Okay, so you were
That's
hunched
Bonica.
over.
That's Rosa Bonica. I don't know
Okay.
why I didn't remember that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great rose. In the before time, when it was all roses and turf, we literally sprayed here once a week.
Oh
from
gosh.
starting in
For
mid-
like a fungicide or a pesticide?
fungicide and insecticides
Okay.
and all kinds of craziness. We sprayed once a week from about the 1st of July through the end of August.
Mm-hmm.
Since we've been doing our, what I call our cleanliness routine,
Mm-hmm.
we were able to ratchet back our amount of sprays. 2 years ago, we sprayed twice. Last year, we sprayed once, and
Mm-hmm.
this year, we have not sprayed at all. So, and you can look at the roses, they still look pretty good. And here we are,
Yeah.
almost the end of August.
When you have all these perennials around here and they die back, are you cleaning off all the perennials at the first stage of spring or?
So we cut them all back in the fall.
Okay.
We'll cut everything back in the fall, mostly because we're trying to keep the voles from getting in here. Because if we leave it all lay here, the voles will come in and they'll girdle the roots, they'll girdle the crowns of the roses.
Okay.
So we cut back a lot of the perennials in here for that reason. I know it's not the best thing to do,
Yeah.
but again, we're a rose garden first and a perennial garden second.
Well, these are good tips. Always good to see how other botanic gardens are doing their strategies so that people in their home could determine whether that's something that they want to actually
Right.
engage in. Here's a little
Right.
swallowtail in the Verbena
Yeah.
bonariensis. Actually,
Lots of
and a
pollinators.
monarch as well.
Lots of pollinators in here, because
Yes.
again, we're not spraying anything.
You're not spraying anything,
Mm-hmm.
and if the roses are not in bloom, there's something else in bloom, and that's another
Exactly.
benefit.
Exactly. Now, I'm not going to say we don't spray anything.
Right.
Because we spray neem oil.
Okay, yeah.
And we spray spinosad, which is basically a bacteria. And that helps control some insects. but they're organic chemicals, you know, and so I feel good about doing that.
And you have a combination here of perennials and it looks like annuals, coleus.
Right, right. You know, each quadrant has a theme to it. This quadrant we call the sunset quadrant. We try to use sort of sunset colors in here. All the roses are themed that way. Not many gardens have a rosarian.
Yes, not many.
We have a rosarian, and it's her job to manage this garden.
And now she said, now you have to give me all these other plants that I have to manage too.
The Arboretum I was mentioning earlier was the summer home of John and Lydia Morris, and it was designed to be used by two people. So a lot of what we have is a vestige of a private estate garden, like all these walkways here are grass walkways. Every walkway in the Arboretum in the Morris era was a turf walkway. And so now we're a public garden. We get hundreds of thousands of visitors each year.
Right.
And so we've had to segue towards using paving.
Right.
And so we put in this bluestone walkway here a couple of years ago.
Which is really nice, but
It's
also
lovely. It makes the garden accessible.
Yeah.
So, you know, families with strollers, people with less mobility issues can come in here and use this garden and get in and see all the roses for us before they really couldn't. So, this is one of our color themed gardens right here. Each quadrant has a different color theme. So there's a yellow, pink, a white, and a red quadrant.
Right.
So all the plants in those quadrants reflect those different colors.
I like this plant. This is like I think it's called Henry Eller's, Rudbeckia.
Yes, exactly.
With
The little tubular flowers.
yeah, folded florets. It looks so funky.
Especially when compared to the
Yeah, regular.
Rudbeckia.
Yep. This is a really substantial garden. You don't really get the size of it until you walk it, but this is a lot of planting.
It's an acre rose garden.
Wow.
So, you know, and in this garden there are over 700 roses, representing about 160 different varieties of roses. And I mentioned earlier, we sort of evaluate them every year and we move them in and out. Our goal is to have roses that have no pest or diseases, flower all summer with great fragrance. So we're not there yet.
And almost cold hardy. Look at the hummingbird right there.
Oh, yeah.
In with the salvia.
On the salvias right there.
Yeah.
The wall back here is a dry stack stone wall that was built in the early 1900s. In the springtime, it's covered with spring blooming perennials and small bulbs.
Right, so I would have
really
loved to see
spectacular.
this during the spring because I like the idea of a rock garden. I love the dry planting. And dry stacked stone walls are just so gorgeous.
Right, so right now though it's kind of going,
Yeah.
it's going into its summer doldrums, but the plumbago is starting to bloom.
It's very nice.
So it's coming
A
out.
nice kind of blue flower too. Matches with the salvia actually.
It does, it does. It is worth going over here to the corner to see our little fountain.
Oh yeah.
We'll go up the stairs and cut over to the left. This garden was sort of Lydia's favorite garden. She liked the roses. This was close to the house. It was sort of her little garden. And so there's an area over here where there's a small fountain and a bench that we know as Lydia's seat, because we know Lydia would come here and sit and sort of overlook her little garden.
Oh yeah, that's really nice. Was it like originally tiled or how was it? How did it look?
This is exactly how it looked.
This is the original.
This is the original.
Wow.
Yeah, and the coping stone made out of exposed aggregate concrete was the coping stone. So and the blue tiles are original. The little,
I mean, this is nice. This would be nice just to sit on the edge and put your feet in, you know?
Although Lydia was prim and proper.
I would say,
She would not put her feet
she
in
wouldn't
that
even
water.
put a toe in there.
No way. So, but up there is her little seat that she would sit in.
Wow.
And from there you get a nice vantage across the rose garden.
Absolutely, look at that.
And the far end is a little summer house. So you can go in there and sit there and again, you have a commanding view. And to give you an idea of the scale of the Arboretum, pretty much everything you can see is part of the Arboretum, as far as the eye can see.
And the Arboretum is roughly, you said 80?
So
you have deer fenced in.
The whole garden is 162 acres.
Okay.
The public garden is 92 acres. So we have a 70-acre sort of off-site property that's our back-of-house operations. But the public garden is 92 acres. So, but you get a sense of the scale of things from looking here.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So, we have a staff of about 20
Okay.
full-time equivalents. We have 9 apprentices that work. They're sort of part-time, and we have some part-time assistant gardeners. We break our garden into 5 sections. Each section has a horticulturist in charge. and they have an assistant gardener and an apprentice intern that helps them. We have a 4-person arborist team, or an arboretum. We've got to take care of our trees, and so we have a 4-person arborist team, which kind of makes us unique in a lot of public gardens because we have that capacity to do all of our own tree work. And mechanic and mower operators. So you add all that together, you end up with about 20 folks. This is our Pennock garden. It was named after our friend and benefactor, Lyndon Pennock, who was a very long-standing friend of the Arboretum. This was our first attempt at restoring some of the original splendor of the Arboretum. When we became a university garden in 1932, the garden sort of had its moments of lushness and waned a bit. And in the waning period, a lot of the plants got removed and things got simplified.
Okay.
In the 90s, we started to do a resurgence and a renaissance of the garden. And the Pennock garden was one of those first gardens we did. And it's the first effort at putting back this 600-foot-long double border that used to extend from the steps at the top there all the way down the bottom of the hill here.
Wow.
And so in the Morris era, this was a lush garden filled with trellises and topiaries and all kinds of shrubs and tropicals, et cetera. And so,
And is this more like annuals now, or like a combination thereof?
It's a combination thereof. So we have canna in here right now.
Yep.
This is it's toucan yellow, I believe as it is, with some mixed salvias. Salvia Burgarten, which has got this great foliage texture.
Yeah, that's got a great...
Very rarely flowers, but it's fabulous.
Is this like a lavender?
No, these are also salvias.
Oh, wow. They almost look like a lavender.
I know. Yeah. It's a Farinaceae variety. I think it's...
that is very spicy. Wow, that is a nice one. And is it hardy to our zone or not?
Oh, no.
I'm always looking for, like, is it hardy?
Annuals.
Do I not have to plant it again?
Salvia Burgarten will persist. A little yucca filamentosa called Excalibur, which is quite lovely in here. Some Vernonia as well.
Which is the season for Vernonia.
It is the season for Vernonia.
Yeah.
This garden, as you can see, you can feel how warm it is in here.
It is, yeah.
We're facing due south. We have all this pavement. We're carved out into the hillside here. So we get a lot of weird stuff like this bignonia growing over here.
Yeah.
Which is totally hardy for us. This big vine on the fence. This Edgeworthia that's over here on this side of the garden.
Which is not hardy to our zone. What zone are you? A zone 6 or zone 7? Oh, you're so lucky. I feel like zone 7 can grow anything.
This plant has been growing here for about 15 years now. And it blooms for us. The first couple of years we had it, it would barely make it through the winter. But as it's gotten more established, it's become much hardier for us. And so now we get it blooming every
It probably
every
helps on the stone, you know, just
100%.
to kind of, the heat.
So because this garden has this weird microclimate to it, we often get like weird things overwintering here. Fucrea overwinters in here. Cannas. All these cannas will overwinter here. We actually they're starting to seed in this garden. So it's kind of an unusual situation. And as we wander from that garden, which has a very sort of annual, sort of a very highly designed aesthetic, into the Maloney garden, which is much freer. It's much more free-form plants in here. A lot of cool things like the ornamental cotton.
Yeah, that's super neat to see. Now, does this get a cottony
It
kind
will.
of yeah.
It will as it starts to ripen.
I've been seeing this more in gardeners' gardens, but it's not something that I would normally have like picked up on.
Most people don't think they want to plant cotton.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the thing you want to think to plant, but it does have some very interesting ornamental qualities to it. The Vernonias again in here are going like crazy. Again, Verbena bonariensis in here as well.
Some of the white calamitha as well that fills in.
Just sort of a filler plant.
This is super cool. I love this. So you have some water system underneath and it just kind of pulls it up and cycles it.
And exactly. Yeah. This is an original fountain. This is a marble fountain from the Morris's era that they had and we restored and put back into the garden. The little sundial up there is also an original Morris feature. And beyond is what we call our orange balustrade. It's sort of an Italianate baluster with a little pavilion on the side. But it's worth going over here, Summer.
Okay.
To see this tree.
Is this the one I've heard about? I've heard about a tree, but I don't know if it's the tree that you're going to be referring to.
It's probably this tree. That's our Katsura tree, or Cercidophyllum japonicum.
Yeah.
And so I like to say that this is the biggest tree in the city of Philadelphia because the Arborist Society ranks trees based on their width, diameter of the trunk, and the height of the tree, and using a numerical formulation that can give it a number. And if you look in the city of Philadelphia for all the biggest trees, our tree has the highest number. Therefore, it's the biggest tree in the city of Philadelphia.
But do they rank it really as the #1 tree, or are you saying
I rank it as a #1 tree, so therefore it's the #1 tree. No, it's a spectacular tree.
Wow, it is huge.
Yes.
Has this ever gotten died back and like started to grow? I mean, it's so twisty and
well, this is where having a team of arborists on staff really comes in handy.
Yeah.
So one of the things that makes this tree so spectacularly beautiful is all the trunks that emanate from the base like that.
Right.
But it's also a thing that's going to strangulate all the trunks. As these other trunks grow, they start to squeeze each other out. So it's really a bad form. You wouldn't want to do this intentionally.
It's terrible form, but it's just so impressive.
But it's spectacular looking. And so our arborists will come through here on a pretty regular basis and do what we call end weight reduction. This tree is actually smaller than it wants to be because we have shortened the length of the branches to sort of keep this lever action from happening as much.
Isn't this impressive?
You're 6 feet
I'm
tall.
6 feet tall. This is pretty impressive. I mean, this looks like the trunk that should be growing up, and these are the arms that are kind of holding it up.
Exactly, but you look at the girth on this thing, it's about 10.5 feet bowl diameter at the base here. So
well, how would you measure the diameter? Because there's so many different, it's multi-stemmed.
Exactly. So how would you?
Yeah, how would you?
With a tape measure, as best you could. So that's what we try to measure around the base as best we can. Other really interesting thing about Cercidophyllum is that in the fall, when the leaves turn yellow, and they abscess and fall from the tree, they give off a tiny fragrance.
A smell, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so in a tree of this size, in the autumn, when the leaves are dropping, it literally smells like you're standing in a bag of cotton candy. It's that great sort of burnt sugar smell.
Wow.
It's spectacular.
Why do you think it smells that way? Like, what is it, the chemistry?
Just the like you said, it's the chemistry of the sap in the leaves. It just has that interesting aroma.
But I just wonder if it smells like burnt sugar for a particular reason, like to attract some of the late pollinator for whatever reason. I don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a male tree. They're male and female trees, and this is a large old male tree, so it produces only male flowers. We have a female tree on the property as well, almost as big, but not quite. Yeah. So this is our little seasonal cottage.
Yeah.
Every season we change it around into something different. And this summer, because it's a pollinator summer, it's our hummingbird hut. So it's entirely decorated out of plants that are attracting to hummingbirds.
Oh my, I love these little cottage rustic touches.
Now the structure itself is made out of basically like a steel pegboard material, but the roof and the wood is actually made out of reclaimed Pennsylvania barns. And so it has an historic element to it.
Yeah.
But it's really cool, and it's a great little place to come and get out of the heat of the day.
Wow, it's pretty cool.
And there's little kids activities to do in there, you know, about hummingbirds and pollinators.
I like it because it's like a living green wall. And
It basically is.
Yeah. Now you have to like water the plants. This one's a little dry,
this
but
needs a little bit of water. I
yeah.
gotta get some water on that today. But you know, some all different kinds of things. Lots of evolvulus, salvias.
And even the skippers are attracted to it. So
In September, when we take this down, we then decorate this out of pumpkins. So it looked like entirely made out of pumpkins. It becomes our pumpkin cottage. Because we found an old map of this area.
yeah.
And at one time where we were standing was called Pumpkin Town.
Really?
Don't ask me why. I guess there was a pumpkin grower here.
Yeah, maybe.
So this is called Pumpkin Town. So we have a pumpkin cottage for Pumpkin Town.
That's pretty cool. I like that you kind of, chisel back some of the historic layers and then just kind of build them back in again. This looks fun. Is this more for the kids or for the formerly youthful?
It's for everybody who's ever a kid is who this is for. This is our garden railway, which we put in 28 years ago.
Wow.
So our former director, Paul Meyer, saw the holiday railway exhibit at the New York Botanic Garden in the conservatory one year and said, I want to be the first garden of Philadelphia to have a garden railway. And so we started one, and it started out as just 7 train tracks.
Yeah.
It only ran for 3 months, and for those 3 months that it ran, our summertime visitation went up 800%.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
So it went in as a temporary exhibit.
Yeah.
But once those numbers started to show up, we realized this is a long time temporary.
Oh my gosh, look at the little like gondola. Yeah. This is ridiculous.
So we work with a company out of Ohio called Applied Imagination. And they do a lot of the little structures for us in the garden.
Yeah.
And so, so you'll see as you wander through here, we have a lot of buildings in miniature of famous Philadelphia landmarks that we have dotted through the garden railway. One of the cool things about our garden railway is different from other garden railways is that most garden railways want to be totally flat.
Yeah.
Trains want to run on a flat surface. They run best that way. We put our garden railway on a hillside, so when we start where we are, the trains are below us at our feet, but the further we go into the garden, they started getting elevated. So now we're here where there are little trellises and the trains are elevated, and we get further.
Look, you even have like destroyed trains, like trains that have toppled over and.
Yes, it's a garden of whimsy in here. When you come down into here, you'll see that these are some historic Philadelphia houses. This is Elfress Alley, which is the oldest residential street in the nation, and that's one of the houses from there. This is a train station nearby in a town called New Hope. It's a New Hope train station.
So did this expand? Like once you saw some of those numbers, did you say, okay, was it just relegated to like a certain part, and then all of a sudden you're like, let's just dedicate the whole garden?
It's massively expanded.
Yeah.
So now, what started out as just 7 train tracks is now 19 train tracks. It covers a 1/4 acre of the garden.
Look at this. This is ridiculous.
Yes.
You can even look at the movement of it. Oh gosh, this reminds me of my favorite show, Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds Go, isn't that what it was? Yes.
5, 4, 3. You know it.
I know it, yes.
Start go.
So here are some buildings that Philadelphia has a boathouse row on down the river, on Schuylkill River in Center City. These are some of the boathouses. I was telling you earlier about the mansion. Well, here's the mansion in miniature. This is a replica of the Compton mansion that John and Lydia lived in. So, you know, for
Well, you didn't totally destroy it.
No, we kept a small miniature piece.
Yeah.
And I should have pointed out, the thing that's interesting about all these buildings is they're made out of natural materials. So if you look carefully, you can see this is a vine wrapping around a stick that's right here, a branch.
And is it just like shellacked or something?
It's basically
polyurethane
together. The roof shingles are actually maple twigs that have been sectioned into small pieces.
So who manages the train garden?
We actually have 2 people that are called train masters, and they run the trains in the train garden.
Unreal.
So.
And how do you schedule the trains? So that are they on their own tracks and they just go around?
They're each on their own track.
Okay, so they don't cross tracks or anything. That would be too complicated.
That would be far, far too complicated.
That would be kind of cool, where you see 2 train crossings in one stop.
No, they're on loop tracks. They just go round and around in a loop.
Yeah.
So here's the Philadelphia Art Museum.
Wow.
And of course, it wouldn't be the art museum if we didn't have Rocky. So off to the right.
Oh yeah, Rocky. There's Rocky.
So we now have, every year we expanded a little bit. I keep having to kind of curtail the train masters and say, okay, we can't do everything. We have to do it, we can't do it all at once. But we have over 1/3 of a mile of track in here.
That's crazy to think
which makes
about.
us the largest outdoor garden railway east of the Mississippi.
And what happens when it rains, or if it obviously it comes in when it snows, but how do you keep the tracks up in the snow, or what happens?
Yeah, so the garden railway runs from Memorial Day weekend until the end of September. And so it runs every day, rain or shine. If it rains a lot, we have to shut it down. But for the most part, a little bit of rain doesn't bother these trees. And we close down and reopen again from Thanksgiving to the end of the year. And then we have what we call our holiday display. We put lights on everything and decorate everything up for the holidays.
Oh, wow.
And the trains will run as long as there's no frost or ice on the track.
Okay.
But we run them in the snow. So
Unbelievable.
Believe it or not, we actually have one train that has a snow plow in the front of it. And when the conditions are right, we can actually run that train in the snow and it clears the track. So, and as you can see, this is very popular with the children.
Yes.
And we do a lot of what I call miniscaping in here. So the idea is to try to plant trees and small ground covers to be in scale with the buildings.
Right, and then mini conifers.
Exactly.
Which,
So although the rest of the garden, we preserve all the trees and try to grow them into these mature, majestic specimens to be appreciated for generations. In here, it's all theater.
Yeah.
Everything in here has to look good. When it goes out of scale, it's taken out.
Got to move out, yeah. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us, or do you think?
I can go all day. We should take a quick ride over here to our Exuberant Blooms exhibit.
Sure.
Because I was realizing that you probably don't even know what this is.
No, you said it was a bunch of annuals, though, like mini annuals.
Yeah, so it's we put it in for our 90th anniversary. In 1933, we became a public garden. So in 2023, we celebrate our 90th anniversary by putting in our version of a Victorian sort of annual garden. So it's been in for 3 years now, running. So it's worth going to look at.
Sounds good.
So this is our Exuberant Blooms exhibit. So it's kind of this giant planting of annuals, sort of arranged. It's hard to see it now because everything has grown up so well, but it's a series of paisley gardens that kind of feed into each other in and out. So.
Oh wow! Look at all the flowers. Butterflies don't discriminate. They're in this garden as well.
Oh, definitely in this garden.
So are these themed by in a certain kind of color, or what's the palette here?
Not necessarily. So every year we do it a little bit differently. And this year it's just simply a pollinator garden. So everything in here is attracting some kind of pollinator or another. And so that's basically what we're trying to do, is just to have this widest variety of annuals in here, a few tropicals mixed in as well, some vines.
It's working, Vince, it's working.
We're very happy here. In the spring, we plant about 10,000 tulips in here. And so the beds are just filled with these gorgeous tulips.
And I'm sure you kind of come up with like a color palette every year.
Right.
A little different.
So this coming year, I believe we're using a lavender and purple scheme with a little bit of white highlights in there.
Yeah. And do you have to plant those every year, or are those bulb underplanted in here naturally already?
We treat our tulips as an annual crop because they don't perennialize well here. It's too hot.
Yeah.
And so they won't make it through the summers very well, especially when we're adding all these annuals on top of it and turning the soil. It's just too difficult.
Now this is, this almost looks like it could be a perennial, but it's just an annual.
It's just an annual salvia.
Yeah.
We really worked the soils hard before we put these beds in here. So we dug down, added a lot of compost and rototilled the soils in here, and we do a fertilization program when everything goes in. And so these are annuals on steroids, really.
I see. So did you sod cut first, or when you said dug down?
We sod cut first.
Yeah.
Yep. We sod cut first, and then we came in, and it is all underneath drip irrigation as well. So it gets the right amount of moisture.
What's the best way to edge beds? What's in your estimation?
I'm old school. I use an edging knife.
Oh, okay.
So, but at home I use a spade.
Okay.
Here I use a string trimmer.
Oh, okay.
So, because at home I can be more fastidious and it's not as much about production.
Yeah.
What we do in these beds here, we'll always edge with a spade first thing in the spring, and then after that maintain the edges with a string trimmer.
Nice.
It's an easy way to get a nice crisp edge.
Yep. This looks like a milkweed of sorts.
It is a milkweed.
Look how pretty.
We planted a number of milkweeds throughout the garden this year as an effort to sort of appease the monarch gods.
Yes, of course. Well, thank you for showing us this.
Yeah.
This is such a pleasant surprise. I mean, you think about an arboretum, but you have a lot more than that, for sure.
Well, our official title is Morris Arboretum and Gardens.
Okay,
So,
there we go. And we did concentrate mainly on the gardens today, so there is an impressive arboretum. Obviously, you saw that Cercidophyllum. That is just really impressive, and there's more to see. So thank you so much,
you're very
Vince.
welcome.
This is really
Thanks
nice.
for coming. It's always good to show off.
Indeed, indeed. And we got to bump into your executive director.
Yeah, Bill's out running around.
Yeah.
That's good. That's super awesome.
We'll be continuing to work on the land at Flock and going on more tours around the region in the coming months, so stay tuned here. And you could help the channel out by liking, subscribing, hitting the notifications button, tipping, or becoming one of our channel members. Thank you again, and we'll see you in the next video.